In this lecture, we'll talk about what's the difference between iron and steel. Then this lecture is for the iron making. We first discuss about raw materials for iron making reactions, and we discuss what is the reactions and what happens inside a reaction furnace called blast furnace. And the last part, we probably discuss about environmental issues for iron making and next generation of iron making process. This shows whole iron and steel production route. You first start with raw materials, and raw materials first preheated, then it is delivered into blast furnace, then the main iron making reaction happen here. Then produced iron is delivered into steel making plant. The iron is converted into steel. The steel is further refined and cast. So with this step we made semi-final product. The semi-final product is also further treated, so into rolling process. Then steel makers sell this type of final product. In this lecture we go to first part, raw materials and iron making process. Now let's first talk about the difference between iron and steel. We typically use these terms simultaneously, but in ferrous technology, iron and steel are different. First, let's talk about iron. In science point of view, iron is just a chemical element with symbol Fe. This appears in periodic table and in atomic number 26, but this is just purely scientific term. Then we could mention the product iron and the product steel. There are two types of iron. The first one is wrought iron. This is the older version iron product. This was made in ancient time at lower temperature, and it contains low carbon content. So it's close to almost 100% iron. This is quite soft and malleable. This was produced when iron making and steel making technologies have not been developed yet. In these days, this type of wrought iron is no more used. In modern iron plant, we produce pig iron. This we call iron. It contains certain amount of carbon. This carbon content is about 3 to 4 or even more than 4%. This is produced from blast furnace by smashing iron ore with coals. This is of course hot metal when this is a molten state. If we cast this type of pig iron, then we call it as cast iron. However, the application period of cast iron is quite limited because cast iron is quite brittle. In a few tries, this kind of iron more useful when you take carbon out of this iron. So once carbon content in iron is decreased, then we call this state steel. Steel is actually converted from hot metal by the great carbon content and their other impurities. Then since iron and steel are different, so the production route for iron and steel are also different. This table shows different characters of iron making process and steel making process. First look at iron making. The raw material for iron making process is iron ore. This is basically iron ore. Through iron making process, we produce hot metal. This is liquid iron containing certain amount of carbon. How do you produce hot metal from iron ore? Since iron ore is iron oxide, so we first take oxygen out of iron ore. What would be effective chemical element to take oxygen from iron ore? This could be carbon. Carbon is supplied from coal. So iron ore and coal links together to produce hot metal. Whole this process should be carried out under reducing conditions because oxygen is taken out. On the other hand, in steel making process, we use this hot metal as raw materials for steel making in order to produce liquid steel. Difference between the hot metal and steel is carbon content. So by decreasing carbon content in hot metal, we produce liquid steel. In order to decrease carbon content, what would be an effective chemicals? This could be oxygen. So by blowing oxygen to hot metal, the carbon content could be lowered. So it means liquid steel is made under oxidation condition. This is quite different for iron making process. And some difference is the temperature. In iron Now let's talk about raw materials for iron making process. In order to process iron, of course, we need some iron source. There are several iron ore mines in the world. So we get the iron ore to produce iron. The iron is basically iron oxide But this is not a pure chemical. It contains certain levels of impurities, and through the iron making process, the oxygen from iron ore must be taken out. This is done by carbon. Carbon is contained in coke. Coke is also available in several coke mines. Using this iron ore and coke, we produce iron. There are several different types of iron ore available. Depending on its chemical composition, its mineralogical name is different. The most prevalent iron ore is hematite. This is basically Fe2O3. The other type of iron ore is magnetite. This is Fe3O4. These two are very relevant iron ores. Some other types of iron ore is available. This is called limonite or ilmenite. All these are oxide types iron ore. On the other hand, there are different types of carbonate types of iron ore available. This is called siderite. All this basically contains iron, and we could take iron from iron ore to iron making process. Unfortunately, this is not a pure chemical. It contains certain impurities, and the impurities we call as gangue. It is typically composed of silica and aluminium and some other types of impurities like phosphorus. Now look at coke. Coke is basically delivered as carbon into the system. If it could use the pure chemical carbon, then it would be much better. However, the pure carbon is quite expensive, and what you can get from the mines is not coke, but it is coal. Coal is naturally available carbon source. Once coal is obtained, this is brought into iron making plant. Then we change it to coke. The coke is finally used in iron making process, and similar to iron ore, the coal and coke also contain certain amount of impurities. This is called ash. This is also silica, aluminium, and certain level of sulfur. Now let's look at basic reactions happening in iron making process. If we roughly describe our metal reactions, then iron oxide is in iron ore reacts with carbon in coke. Then iron oxide reduced by this direction, we could use iron and carbon and oxygen forms carbon monoxide gas, and this disappears. This is quite simply described. However, in order to allow this kind of reaction happening, we need some heat. During iron making process, there are also important reactions. Carbon in other form in fuel gas and oxygen in hot air are blasted into reaction vessel, the blast furnace, and it forms carbon dioxide gas and generates a lot of heat. This is applied to these raw materials and iron becomes molten state. Once this carbon dioxide gas is generated, and this reacts with carbon and coke, and it forms carbon monoxide gas back. This carbon monoxide again reacts with iron ore, and it is used to reduce iron ore. The third reason is called Boudreaux's reaction, and this one is from important reactions in iron making process. Right hand side shows the full description of iron making plant. In the middle we have a reaction vessel called blast furnace. The blast furnace has raw material supply facility and hot air supplying facility and tapping facility for producing hot metal and slag. Inside the blast furnace, what is happening? We have iron ore supplied and coke. They stay layer by layer. Okay. And hot air is blasted into this blast furnace. The air first reacts with fuel to form carbon dioxide gas. This carbon dioxide gas reacts with coke to form carbon monoxide gas. This is Boudreaux reaction. This carbon monoxide gas reacts with ore in order to produce ore into iron. The iron is also carbonized by coke, so it becomes molten state. Then iron ore falls down. By this way, we could get molten iron ore from blast furnace. This is basic of iron making process. Iron making process. The iron ore and the coal, they obtained from mines. They are not directly used for iron making process. They should be preheated. So in iron making plant, there are two preheating plants. One is a coke plant and the other is steel plant, sinter plant. So let's look at coke. What we can get from mine is coal. Coal is a natural form of carbonate material. This contains a certain number of volatile materials inside, such as moisture. in order to effectively used for iron making process, this coal needs to be treated in coke, even coke oven, to transform into coke. So this is coke produced from coal. The coke is of course the source of reduction of iron ore by providing carbon into iron ore, and when it burns, it also generates a lot of heat. So heat energy required for iron making process is supplied by this coke, and this is a source for carbon of hot metal. When iron is reduced from iron ore, first it could be a solid state, but by dissolving carbon from coke, the melting temperature of iron lowers and could become a molten state. So that's why we could get the hot metal in liquid form. And coke has certain level of mechanical strength. Since this coke and iron ore are stayed inside blast furnace layer by layer, coke and iron must sustain a certain amount of weight. So this coke could be a source of the internal structure of blast furnace burden, and from the coal it contains certain amount of impurities like sulfur and some volatile melt like alkalines. So if we could lower amount of sulfur in alkalines in coke, then it is much preferred. Next, the iron ore is also put into blast furnace layer by layer with coke, so it should sustain some burden inside blast furnace. If it could use lump type ore, then it may be okay, but in these days the lump ore has been consumed and the available ore is very fine powder type. So this ore is first brought into sinter plants and it undergoes some agglomerization process. Then we could produce sinters or pellets. Having this agglomerization process, it could improve the permeability of this sinter, and it allows better gas solid contact. So the Brodess reaction, we produce CO gas, and CO should react with iron ore. Certain level of permeability should be available. If we use just fine powder type ore, then permeability will be very low, and having this type of sinter, we could reduce coke consumption rate but increase reduction rate. And just fine ore is just used, this powder will be blown out of blast furnace by using gas, but having sinter it could be prevented. And of course the fine ores are much less expensive than the lump type of ores. And when sinter is made, not only iron ore is used but also certain type of flux is added. So sinter is composed of iron ore and some other flux. This is put into blast furnace, so this process effectively used. Why do you use flux inside? Iron ore and coke contains certain levels of impurities called gangue and ash. The gangue is typically composed of silica and aluminium. Once ore and coke react together, then iron is produced and carbon is disappeared in forms of gas, then just these impurities are remained. The silica aluminium melts and forms molten silicate or molten aluminium silicate. We call this a slag. This slag has this kind of network structure inside. Having this network structure lowers fluidity. In other words, slag has high viscosity. Because of this, mass transfer inside blast furnace becomes lower. In order to improve mass transfer, or in order to make this slag more fluid, we need to add some flux. This is limestone providing calcium oxide from calcium carbonate. This could lower viscosity by breaking this point in 7 places, so that network structure becomes in smaller size. By doing this, the fluidity of slags become improved. Also at the same rate, provided flux CaO is effective is in removal of sulfur available in coke by this reaction. Lime reacts with sulfur to form calcium sulfide, and calcium sulfide absorbs this into slag. Finding this way, sulfur available in coke and absorbed in hot metal could be exposed out of hot metal into slag. Then now let's look in the sequence. This is scale out of figure of iron making plant. First we have raw materials, iron ore and some blocks here and cokes. These are delivered through this route and charged into blast furnace from top position. At the same time, the heated air from hot stoves is delivered through this route called tues from bottom side of blast furnace. Temperature of heated air is about 1150 degrees centigrade. This air moves upward and raw materials moves downwards and they react together. So this is typical of current reactors. The heated air burns the carbon in the fuel gas to form carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide reacts with coke to form carbon monoxide. When this carbon monoxide removes oxygen from iron ore, in this way iron ore reduced and iron produced. Reduced iron ore melts by dissolving carbon from coke, and it actually falls down to bottom of this blast furnace called hearth. At the same time, the ash and gangue materials combined with the flux added to the system, and this also absorbs impurities and they form slag. Slag is also falling down to bottom of this vessel. The density of slag is lower than density of hot metal. Slag stays over hot metal. Then this how metal is tapped and slag is also drained out. The raw materials, ore, flux and coke, they continuously delivered into blast furnace, and hot air is continuously delivered into blast furnace. Reacted gas moves upward and it is collected again to be recycled. All this process are continuously repeated. Let's look at what happening inside blast furnace. This chemical figure shows inside temperature level of blast furnace. Temperature could be increased up to 2600 kelvins. Is quite high. What is delivered into this system? We actually charge coke ore and some of the types of ore, lump type ore or pellet type ores as raw material. At the same time, we provide air which is heated around these temperatures. Then they react together inside furnace. As a result, we produce hot metal and slag as byproduct, and reacted gas leaves out of the system and it is recycled. Now let's compare temperature of blasted hot air and the exit cell. When gas leaves out of blast furnace, temperature was lowered significantly. It means the heat energy contained in hot air is efficiently left inside blast furnace and it leaves a cool, cold gas. This means that the blast furnace is very significant reactor in terms of energy saving. Required energy is provided by self inside hot blast furnace, and it could increase temperature up to over 2000 kelvins. And as a result, we could produce hot metal and slag. The time period required for this process we call tap to tap time. It's about 5 to 6 hours. It means when you put raw materials here, after 5 to 6 hours, it came out like hot metal, and depending on the size of this blast furnace, the producing capacity is also dependent. The capacity and tap time and the number shown in slide are just an example. It varies from blast furnace to blast furnace, even in one iron making plant, because this is just an illustration process. Inside blast furnace, now let us look at the reaction. We have ore and coke. To this coke, we blast hot air with fuel. They form carbon dioxide gas and comes out as gas reacted coke to form coke oven gas. The CO gas moves this pores inside coke and it arrives at ore to react with ore. Then ore is in the form of Fe2O3 or Fe3O4. They react with CO gas to form a reduced form. From Fe2O3 to Fe3O4 or to FeO, this FeO finally reacts with CO gas to form reduced Fe and carbon dioxide gas. Again, the process of carbon dioxide gas is converted into carbon monoxide gas through Brodde's reaction. And through this process, calculation occurs, but at the same time, heat energy is involved. Carbon in the fuel gas react with oxygen in hot air. It becomes carbon dioxide gas. This process is a lot of heat. So this is heat energy used inside blast furnace and requires for iron making reactions. So the blast furnace does not require any external device to heat inside, but all the heat energy produced by itself. So this is quite effective. As a result of this, the iron making process, we could get hot metal and slag. The hot metal contains certain levels of carbon, sulfur, silicon, manganese and phosphorus. Depending on used, we may have titanium or some other types of element. This will be sent to steel making plant.